The Nigerian Air Force has carried out 2 precision airstrikes against armed bandits in Zamfara state, destroying an improvised explosive device hub and killing several fighters. The operations were conducted on Sunday under the air component of Operation Fasanyama, Sector 2 in Tsafe local government area. According to the Air Force, the first strike targeted Turba Hill, a known bandit hideout, following credible intelligence and sustained surveillance. NAF air assets engaged a key operational structure within the enclave with battle damage assessment, confirming its complete destruction and the killing of several bandits. In a second air interdiction mission, jets struck the camp of notorious bandit leader Kachalla Dogo Sule, identified as a major IED manufacturing and operational base.
In the early hours of the past few days, something shifted in Nigeria's long and painful war against banditry and terrorism. For years, Nigerians had grown used to familiar statements after attacks. We condemn this dastardly act. The perpetrators will be brought to justice. And then silence. But this time, silence was replaced by explosions in the sky. First came the U.S. airstrikes on Christmas Day, targeting Lakurawa terrorists linked to ISIS in Masalachi village, Tangaza local government area of Sokoto state. Then, just days later, the Nigerian Air Force followed up with devastating precision strikes on Turba Hills and Kachalla Dogo Sule's camp in Tsafe local government area of Zamfara state. For communities that have lived under fear for years, this moment felt different. A coordinated blow, not a coincidence. The Nigerian Air Force airstrikes did not happen in isolation. They came barely days after the United States launched airstrikes on Lakurawa terrorists, a group increasingly linked to the Islamic State's West Africa networks. Residents of Masalachi village confirmed that many Lakurawa fighters were killed in the U.S. strike, while survivors fled the area in disarray. For once, the terrorists were the ones running. And then came the Nigerian response. According to the Director of Public Relations and Information of the NAF, Air Commodore Ehimen Ejodame, the air interdiction missions were carried out based on credible multi-source intelligence. These were not random bombings. These were calculated strikes on the heart of bandit operations. Do you think this coordination between U.S. and Nigerian forces marks a turning point, or is it just another phase that may fade away? Share your thoughts in the comments.
Turba Hills, a safe haven for bandits, is no more. The Turba Hills had long been known as a notorious bandits' hideout. Its rugged terrain offered cover, safety, and operational freedom to armed groups terrorizing villages across Zamfara and neighboring states. On Sunday, that illusion of safety ended. NAF air assets struck a zinc-roofed structure that served as the nerve center of operations in the area. Post-strike assessments confirmed total destruction of the target and the neutralization of several bandits. For years, these hills symbolized government absence. Now, they symbolize government resolve. If you believe decisive action is long overdue, please like this video and support the channel. Kachalla Dogo Sule's camp, the IED factory, destroyed. If Turba Hills was a hideout, Kachalla Dogo Sule's camp was something far more dangerous. This camp was a known IED manufacturing and operational hub linked to deadly attacks along Dan Sadau Magami axis. From here, improvised explosive devices were built, tested, and deployed against civilians and security forces. The airstrike hit multiple active structures, triggering intense fires that engulfed the camp. According to NAF sources, the facilities were destroyed, several bandits were neutralized, and the group's IED production capacity was crippled. There are strong indications that Kachalla Dogo Sule himself, one of the most dangerous terrorists in the northwest, may have been neutralized. If confirmed, would this be justice served, or will another leader simply take his place? Let us know in the comments section.
Northern Nigeria divided, dialogue or firepower. As expected, reactions across northern Nigeria have been sharply divided. One side condemns the use of force. They criticize the involvement of the United States and insist that dialogue remains the best solution. They argue that military action fuels resentment and radicalization. The other side, growing louder by the day, supports the use of overwhelming firepower. They argue that dialogue has been tried repeatedly and failed, that bandits use negotiations to regroup, rearm, and return deadlier. But here is the critical question. Who is making each argument? Communities directly affected by banditry, those whose children were kidnapped, whose farms were destroyed, whose relatives were killed, have overwhelmingly welcomed the airstrikes. For them, this is not about theory or ideology, it is about survival. Should the opinions of victims carry more weight than political or religious arguments? Share your response below. The hidden motives and shrinking voices. Interestingly, as the kinetic approach continues, the voices condemning the use of force appear to be reducing. Meanwhile, support for decisive military action is growing. Many Nigerians believe that some of the loudest critics of airstrikes are driven by hidden motives, religious sympathies, political interests, or personal benefits tied to the chaos. As bandit camps are destroyed and supply routes disrupted, the room for moral grandstanding shrinks. If you believe Nigeria must stop pampering criminals and start protecting citizens, subscribe to this channel for more in-depth analysis. Bello Turji on the run. Perhaps the clearest sign that this new approach is working is the current situation of Bello Turji. Since the U.S. airstrikes on Christmas Day in Sokoto, Turji, a name that has haunted communities for years, has gone into hiding. Security sources indicate he is currently taking refuge in Dubagale, north of Dan Adama village in Sabon Birni, just 25 kilometers from the Niger Republic border. Despite several attempts, Nigerian troops have not yet been able to arrest or neutralize him, and this raises another uncomfortable issue. Intelligence leakages, the elephant in the room. Some security analysts believe Turji's repeated escapes are not accidental. They argue that intelligence leakages from within government, state, or federal may be aiding his survival. One security expert even claimed he provided actionable intelligence that could have led to Turji's arrest within 24 hours, but the government failed to act. Is it possible to win this war without first defeating internal sabotage? Tell us what you think. This is where the recent changes under the Minister of Defense, Christopher Musa, become significant. A new doctrine under Defense Minister Christopher Musa. With Christopher Musa at the helm, Nigeria's counter-terrorism strategy appears to be shifting from rhetoric to action. The emphasis is now on intelligence-driven operations, decisive strikes, and denying terrorists any sense of safety, whether in forests, hills, or border communities. Many believe that if this momentum is sustained, figures like Bello Turji will not evade justice for much longer. The message being sent is simple. There are no more untouchables. If you want updates on how this strategy unfolds, like this video and turn on notifications. What this moment truly represents. This is not just about airstrikes in Zamfara or Sokoto. It represents a psychological shift. For the first time in years, terrorists are reacting instead of dictating. Camps are being destroyed instead of negotiated with, and affected communities are beginning to feel seen and heard. The involvement of the United States has amplified seriousness. The Nigerian Air Force's follow-up has shown ownership, and the growing public support suggests that Nigerians are tired of half measures. Will this momentum be sustained? Will internal leakages be addressed? Will political and religious interests finally take a back seat to national security? And, most importantly, should dialogue ever return, or has that chapter closed permanently? Drop your answers in the comments section. Let's have an honest conversation. Like this video if you support decisive action against banditry. Subscribe for daily deep dive security and national analysis. Share this video so others can understand what is really happening. Nigeria is watching, the bandits are watching, and for the first time in a long while,
the tide may finally be turning.